5,
6,
7,
8,
9.
10.
Yes, sir. Hi, Queen.
Hey, Antoinette, you tell the people how you doing today.
Mm.
Switch it up on them. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Around the Way Curls.
I am feeling refreshed after talking to you for a little bit. You've made me feel better. I was crying just an hour and 30 minutes ago, and now I have a smile on my face. Oh, how the turntables will
Play hip hop and R&B.
turn. No, you don't know that from The Office.
No.
Oh my God, when when Michael Scott was like, look how the turntables, and then Kevin was like, turn. Anyway, um, you know what? I want to give some advice to myself, and hopefully it will help listeners. Do not let corporate America gaslight you. Do not let these people praise you and give you corny ass recognition at work on a company meeting where they like, oh my God, you're doing so good. We love you. What a warrior. What a fighter. You're so dedicated. We didn't know what we would do without you. My God.
Don't let them
Don't let
jaw
them do
rule
that
you.
to you. Because when they do that, what they're doing is celebrating your willingness to kill yourself for the company
Oh.
and for your paycheck. And I would encourage you to say, you know what, thank you so much for this recognition. I would like, I hope that we are working towards creating an environment and a work style where, you know, going above and beyond in the way that I have is not necessary.
Did you say that? I hope you did.
I did say it.
Good.
I said it to my boss and I said it to her boss and I said it to a couple colleagues who tried to gaslight me today. Real nice, real sweet with it. They did. They all sent me very sweet and I know they were on a leadership call. And as soon as they got off, they all pinged me separately with a bunch of little cutesy messages, some gifts, a couple long-winded emails of praise and thanks. And I could dig it. But that praise does not pay my bills any more than normal. And I'm not going to continue to work like this. So they all got the same copy and paste message to them, acknowledging that I appreciate being acknowledged, but also something's going to have to shift
This ain't
because
right. It is unsustainable.
I literally said this is wreaking havoc on my mental health and my physical health. I said it. This cannot continue. And I feel like I've been saying that. And at some point, I think I just gotta, I don't know, capitalism. You need your job. And my job gives me a lot of freedom. Again, I was off work for like 3 weeks when my mother was sick, and I did not have to worry about not having a job. I can call out to
Mm.
go record. See, the thing is, there is, there's some good as well. But yeah, I think I've left my house. I left my house to record See the Thing Is, and I took a yoga class last night. That was when I left my house this week. The rest, I was working. And even when I recorded See the Thing Is on Monday, I took 3 hours to record it and was working until 9 p.m. Worked on Sunday. It's just really difficult right now. So I want to offer that to folks that you don't have nothing to prove. And these people's thank yous, it's sweet and they should do it, but something got to shift as well. So that's where I'm at. And I'm happy to be doing this with you. Whenever we record, it doesn't feel like work. Whenever I record, it doesn't feel like work. All the shit afterwards, getting it out and all that, that feels like work. But being in the moment and just chit chat with my people, that feels great. So I am grateful to be here and excited for whatever the hell this
For
episode's
this
finna
very
be. Because I
interesting
don't,
episode,
girl,
'cause
I'm looking at this outline and I'm like, what is the through line? But I'm sure we'll find it. Ride the wave with us, kids. How are you?
girl, I think similarly, when you're working, when you're, for me, in a certain place of survival mode, when you're trying to make something out of nothing,
Mm,
you train your nervous system to be activated and to be humming all the time.
mm-hmm.
And that then I've had a realization that I am a workaholic, that my entire life is founded in work of some sort, that my friendships are founded in work. If I don't have friends that aren't, that I don't really work with, like that I'm in deep relationship with. Yeah, I may have friends, but the actual um nurturing of the relationship doesn't happen because work's
Samantha.
in it's in the way. I don't often have time to kick it with Amanda. If I
Mm,
have the weekend, I have time off. Like my weekends, my Saturday, in my mind, how I see my Saturday now is like, oh, it's a free day where I don't have any meetings, but
mm-hmm.
I can go into the studio and work and not be bothered by anybody. JoJo's with her dad, so I'm gonna go there and do all of the things that I couldn't do because of meetings and like school structure. And last Friday, I was talking to you. I left the studio and and now I'm in this pattern of like, okay, you've worked hard, so how can I reward myself with, and it's been food now, so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get myself something really delicious. And
Did you get
yeah,
your pho?
I got ramen and it was very
Okay,
good.
good.
But I was sitting there. That's where I had the realization, like, oh no, you when I sat down, when I have moments to myself, my mind goes to work.
Mm-hmm.
What could I have done differently? What am I going to do in the future? Who do I have to reach out to? What do I have next? Um, Now it's all about these number stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, how, how the fuck? How the fuck? What the fuck? When the fuck? And I don't see my family very often. It peppered all of my relationships. People don't feel like I, similar to what you were saying last week, that I'm present or they have access to me. They already
Mm-hmm.
assume I'm busy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, and for the longest time, I was like, "What y'all talk about?" Or I like had this idea of like, "No, and I'm like, "Oh no, bitch! Like you are very active in this. You are very addicted to it. You do not even know what is possible outside of it. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with myself with for 3 hours that's not work related or outside of the realm of responsibility in some way with Joe? So I'm just sitting with that. Um, I'm sitting with that. I'm really sitting with that. I'm wondering. I'm trying to be honest with what about it does excite me though, and that I would never want to give up. And what
Mm-hmm.
about it is just me being in a really in a bad pattern that um, that I wasn't even conscious of, and now I have to be more conscious of and see that, yeah, this has been majority. I'm gonna start that. This has been majority of Jolie's life. She's known me as a workaholic, so like, wow, this is interesting. So shout out to that. And please rate, subscribe, and follow us on Patreon so that we can continue this work. Please. So that we can pay for this work.
Can
And
I
then
ask a question?
what?
Oh, go ahead. What were you about
There's
to say?
there's this powerlessness that I'm noticing, and we talked about the money last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this idea of when I get this certain, when I get this, when this happens, I just have to keep going until this thing
Oh, you mean on
happens.
Monday?
Huh?
We
Yeah.
talked about it on Monday.
That is a default. That's not a really explored um, narrative that I have. that leaves me powerless and leaves me out of control in a way and unconscious. I'm in like a slumber. I feel a lot of us are. I feel a lot of us, whether you have a 9 to 5, whether you're doing the creative thing, there is this there is this mirage ahead of us that we're like, oh, when I get there, when I get to this
It's always
level,
the
when I get
next
this
thing.
skill
Yeah.
set, when I get this partner, when I get this kid, when I get this, when I just start this thing, when I start making a certain amount of money, and I'll speak for myself, it's never a defined thing for me. And I want to work on it being more defined. Because otherwise I'm just like panting and going in a desert because I know that this mirage is going to be there that's going to quench something versus being really like, girl, what the fuck and why and what? What? Um,
Yeah. Do you feel I had to think about what can I do, because I was figuring out in my head like, okay, what can change? And it didn't feel like a whole lot besides me saying what I need to say at work, besides me, um being honest about like, hey, around the way curls needs to take a break in the summer. Can't afford therapy, needs to be seasonal. It can't be every week. We're gonna do 20 some episodes in a season and then take a break. Um, the other thing that I thought like, oh, you got to get hella organized so that the time that you have is what I'm trying to do is have like a schedule of, okay, the discipline of like when you are working, you got to be working. Like really hone in, be organized, write everything down so that you're working as efficiently and as effectively as possible. And then hopefully that is going to free up more leisure for you. Sadly, a lot of the stuff that ties me up is me waiting on other people at work and everything. Like I'm literally waiting for an email right now and I keep looking at the screen seeing if it came in. So, like, have you done that? Because I'm trying to do that with my own stuff of, okay, after this episode, I know that getting YouTube, the stuff for Patreon takes a minute. Do it tonight. Like it takes a minute to export. You need to create the background tonight, put it up there, start exporting so that then you upload it during the day, during the work day. So you're not doing that at night. Like
yeah,
figuring out the ways in which.
I think being effective and efficient is always the goal, and there's
Hmm.
always ways to streamline things. I think though, and I think you're feeling it as well when you're making something out of nothing.
Hmm.
There's always something to make. There's
Oh, always.
always something to do.
Always.
I can't put the shit close because then my mind's going. It's a deeper,
Well, that's where
it's
getting specific, I think, helps. Of
getting
like,
specific for me is helpful. Having real goals that are
and
measurable
small, right,
so
smaller,
that you can be
tangible
like, oh,
goals.
this energy that I'm putting in isn't working. Let me tweak it and then see what the output is. So it has to
Yeah.
become like this scientific, measurable. You have to have metrics, and I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting from the class, that it can't just be this constant, you're just going towards something. It's like, no, I'm going towards this certain amount of money.
Hmm.
This is the process, the people, and the assumption that I'm making.
Hmm.
This is how we're testing it. That didn't work. So I'm never going to exert that energy in that same way again. We're going to try something else, so that it doesn't. And also, I think another thing is it's not, I can't do everything. I just can't. My business around the way curls, nothing can grow with just the amount, with just you and I doing it. And then there's like the shame and then the financial ideas of scarcity that come up when you have to like figure out how to make it work and bring people in. That's can be exhausting as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's just it's just a wild ride, and I think I'm trying to learn how to not to put some things down. I think that's another thing. I just keep picking things up. I keep picking things up. But the root of it is a scarcity mindset. I know is the root of it is like, oh, I have to do all of this stuff. I can't afford to get anybody to help. So I should go to therapy. I should go to therapy, or I don't know. But me realizing and me even bringing language to like, oh, Shanti, you're a workaholic, and this is not healthy for you, and it's affecting all of your relationships, and it's also like the center of all your relationships. Is that the quality of life that you want for yourself? Mm.
Well, more to come. All right, let's go to voicemails as it's 10:44 in the evening. We both work tomorrow.
And we've been working all day.
And we've been working all day.
5:45.
I'm still working right now. So, and I have to move my car after all this. And I think I'm just going to take the ticket and call it a day. Because, all right, voicemails. Ready, set, go.
All right, I'm going to try to be as quick and concise as possible. This is Yo-Yo. Listening to episode 257, and it was hilarious. Like, Shanti held it down. Antoinette, you on edibles is funny. But here, coming from a queer perspective, I'll tell you that queer and gay are not the same. I do see what Shanti was saying, though. Gay is like a general term, but queer is someone who's just like, hey, I'm different. Like, I define myself as queer. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a flat-out lesbian or bisexual. Like, I don't like those titles because I don't think they really fit me. I'm just queer. I'm different. I like who I like. I'm free-spirited. I'm a lover. Like, that, to me, is queer. Gay, to Antoinette's point, is, like, I'm gay. I'm gay for the same sex. That's just one thing, whether it be male or female. And then we get into a whole other part of the alphabet that I don't even understand. But, all right, so that was the funny thing I want to talk about. The other thing is, Antoinette, how's your mom doing? How do you deal with, like, how are y'all dealing with, like, parents getting older? Like, my mom, she is getting older and she's sick and, like, she's just not well. And so, like, I want to talk to my family about, like, a living will and things like that. But it's awkward and they don't want to talk about it. They're like, you trying to kill me off? So how are y'all having those conversations about, like, those things? Those, you're not gonna live forever. Let's prepare for the future. Like, are either of y'all had those conversations with your parents? If so, what did that look like? All right, thanks. Love y'all. Bye.
I love Yo-Yo. I for real love Yo-Yo. For real.
I love her.
Concise, thoughtful, informative, and throwing us something to talk about, child.
Amen. Thank you for clearing up. Yeah, gay, that's when I listen back to what I said, gay, I didn't say it right. Gay is like you like one gender. But bi is that you like both. That's where I was getting at with it. Does that make sense?
I get it. Gay.
Okay.
But you
Okay, moving on. Nope. We're done. We're done. Okay.
I'm only playing.
All right. The conversation around, first of all, my mom is doing much better. Thank you. But my whole every parent in my life, whether they are step or my actual biological parents, are a hot ass mess right now. Just all getting older, all dealing with their stuff, all requiring care and attention. And this is crazy that you asked that because it's a lot going on right now. I am having these conversations and they didn't want to have these conversations. And shout out to my sister for, I'll tell you, Tina was like, I just think it's irresponsible and I don't want to be left like with questions. I don't want to, and so she was loving, but she let them know, like, this is what it is. We need to talk about this. I think a great way to approach it, because I approached it that way with my grandmother, who you can't talk to like that. And I just said to her, like, I want to make sure your wishes, that we know what your wishes are, that you're taken care of, that, when you're gone, everything's set up the way you want. And so we started off with her funeral first. We talked about the music, from who's going to do the service to all the things, right? And then we got into, okay, well, do you have a what is it? Power of attorney? Do you have a what is it called, child? Because I'm one of them for my godmom.
Executor?
An executor, thank you. Do you have all these things in place? Do you have this stuff written down? Where can we find it?
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that my parents have been good about it for the most part, but they still, I think what we fail to realize is that it's really confusing even for them.
Yeah.
And so for my mom specifically, like, she has a will and she gave it to my sister, and I was like, I don't understand all of it. Just sign it. It's fine. And it was like, wait, and it was very rushed and we didn't get to read it, and my sister was really upset.
Yeah, you don't
And
have
so
to do it like
that's
that.
something we have to revisit when the time it's time sensitive, and you have to do it when the time is right. But you just have to force the conversations, and I think my advice is to just say, I have to make sure that you're taken care of and you're honored and that your wishes are carried out, and I need to know what that is.
And creating a lot of space for a lot of emotions, really hard emotions to come up, of fear, of shame. I think finances for folks is a really hard conversation to have, and for parents to have to share that with their kids, especially if things aren't in order, or if there's debt, or if they don't know. I think that's a thing that's coming up. We should have a whole episode about this. But the shame of how much they don't actually know, and the shock of you being like, nigga, what? You don't know this? Like, you don't know where you're, especially when it comes to finance. My mom doesn't play around that, and is a curmudgeon and knows all of where her money is.
Does she?
Yes. My mom does not play around that at all. And she's very, very protective and very, very vocal about it. So whether we wanted to have the conversation or not, she was like, this is what it is. This is what we're going to do. But for some people, especially in my family and in my dad's side, there's a lot of stuff is coming out. Since my grandma passed, a lot of stuff is coming out that you're like, oh shit, you need you need help. Like, actually, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
What? So having grace, and maybe you aren't the person to talk about it with them, finding the people that will let them open up and have those discussions. But it's a process, and it's about,
and there's
some
if your parents have, which most of our parents probably do, health insurance, what is it? Is it Medicaid or Medicare? Child, one of them. If they're of that age, you can usually find a social worker within that network to help them understand everything. So that's a great resource if they don't want to talk about it with you. Of course, you got to find a good one, but there are some that will sit down and help people plan, it's not life, but I guess, their afterlife kind of wishes. That's a great question. Yeah, we got to have somebody who want to talk about that. Ugh. All right, one more voicemail so we can get into the other things.
Hi, Antoinette. Hey, Shanti. I was just getting out the shower, and I just was really thinking about the whole Jonathan Majors thing. And, I don't think we ever, not to say, first of all, full disclosure, protect all women, believe all women, and everybody is innocent until proven guilty. However, I don't think that we are considering the fact that the psychological things that may have been going on with Jonathan Majors. I've been looking at a lot of reels and stuff about actors who talk about practicing for roles and how they're kind of trapped in those roles, and how those roles kind of psychologically, screw with them. Like, for instance, this old dude who played Jeff Dahmer in that series, the guy who framed Roger Rabbit, to those imaginary figures. I'm not familiar with all of Jonathan Majors' work, but I do find like he's in either fictional characters or all of his fiction because he's acting, but he's been in the point where he's been in Disney movies. He's been in and he's especially doing his most recent project. Imagine how long and how much time and practice it took him to get into the mind of a fighter. And once he's in and submerged into that role to make it convey as realistic and be that same grungy role. Even with Lovecraft Country, I did not watch the whole series. I may be misspeaking, but he was always fighting for his rights or fighting for his life or fighting for something or fighting for anything. Some it seems like to me in all of his roles. And maybe I'm thinking he could be psychologically be in those roles and in that moment with that girl or with women, he may be stuck or that is his first response because he's living in the alternate reality. It's also because it's fiction, it's reality because he really has to become those roles in order to really convey it across the movie screen. And I just feel like a lot of the times we don't consider those things. Come on, we have Lil Wayne and Future who is still rapping about lean when they've been done with it or been, cut back on it at least a lot, but we don't view actors the same a lot of the times, and I think we don't consider that as often with actors. I just hope that he really gets help. I hope that he gets therapy, and I hope that I think that post um, media or movie therapy should be a thing. Like it should be a requirement for actors and actresses to use therapy to kind of decompress all of it. Anyway, it was just really
She got cut off. Thoughts?
What you is loyal with, girl? Stop playing.
Yo, you get on my nerves. Oh
No.
my God, I was not thinking that was what you were gonna say.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. I think the underlying thing that is moving him, if he did, to hurt and abuse somebody that he's in relationship is probably even deeper than the roles that he's taken on. I mean, and I can't discount again. We said it like we were like I was worried about him. A sane person. First of all, he was working back to back to back, training crazy, blew the fuck up. What to speak of his personal life? He's getting all this attention. Like I can't imagine that psychologically that is that it feels like anything a normal brain and nervous system can like manage in a healthy way. Yeah, if yeah, I'm just saying words again, but I don't know if I think if that was the reason, but it probably could have contributed.
Yeah, and sometimes art imitates life. I
Mm.
remember do you remember talking about Lovecraft? And remember when I said that one part where after he was very aggressive in front of Journey, that wasn't her
Hmm.
name in the show, but
Yeah.
and he was beating the shit out of Michael K. Williams, his father,
Hmm.
and she is obviously shaken up by him, and she comes downstairs and she has that bat. Like there's all these scenes where she's actually scared of him too, of
Hmm.
that anger that exists in
Hmm.
him. And there's that one part where he he reaches out to her. It's before they like actually have a nice love scene, and he says, "Please don't be afraid of me." And he looks so disappointed in himself, and it just came from such a real place. And I remember distinctly talking about that moment and saying like, "Oh my God," when he said that, it was just it
Mm.
felt so real.
Sure.
And it made me think back to it about, art imitating life, and allegedly, we still don't know. But in general, I think yeah, I think it's a great idea if the actors, especially method actors, especially as someone who previously acted, you do need to decompress. Um, you do need to let go of that stuff, and it's really hard to do that when you dedicate so much time trying to get into the mind of a character, and when you also at times figure out ways how to personalize the character and
Mm-hmm.
to connect with that character, and oftentimes you do, and it's triggering. It's super triggering um when your task is to tell that story and you want to tell it as authentically as possible. Think about like Heath Ledger. Like, what would have happened if he could have gotten some help, after playing that role? I don't think the role is necessarily the thing I think that killed him, but it triggered something that
Mm-hmm.
existed in him,
Yeah.
like all of it coming together as like the perfect storm. And we're human beings, these are human emotions, so we all need to unpack. But yeah, I think there's a lot of actors that have said after certain roles they've needed to
Oh, of course. I
take some
couldn't imagine.
time.
Michael K.
And
Williams.
oh, listen, art
Ciao.
imitating life, child. Ugh.
Michael.
um but yeah, let's take a break. Let's see what happens afterwards. Do you want to sing?
No, I
Or
don't.
no? No, I knew she didn't. All right. Bye. Oh, the email came in. All right. I think I should be high again. I think I should only do episodes high.
Are you high right now?
No, I think I should have been. Is you high right now?
All right, well, here we go. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
So we're back. You know, as I mentioned before, we got a lot going on. Um, Sometimes coming up with these topics every week is hard. It's difficult. But I strung two seemingly opposing topics together. I feel like they're just talking points, but I think we can bring them together. I think it's something of the future and of the past.
Oh, look at what you just did. That was good.
Now, we've been trying to talk about this, but I don't fucking understand it. And I'm beginning to understand it more and more, especially with the help of Rakia Reynolds. You guys can follow her on Instagram, but she's been creating these reels talking about AI and should we be scared of AI and the future of AI. Now, the basics, hopefully all y'all know and have seen AI creating these images, these gorgeous images. All you have to do is put in some prompts, long haired spider bunny. You could put that into an AI prompt and an image will come up. You could say long haired spider bunny in Picasso style, and they will create that image.
But what? Where are you putting that in?
So they have these things called, they have different ones. So that's Journey. They have these different
It's an app.
apps. They're
Oh.
basically like apps, yeah. So that's Journey, and then they have this GPT. I think GPT-4. If you look up GPT-4, that is the um, motherboard, if you will, and that GPT board has all of these different visual and written and ways of basically thinking and creating. I think that's what's so scary about AI right now is that we are teaching it how to think and we are teaching it how to create. And you put thinking of not just like answering a question, but like there's reasoning that's happening now. There's projections that AIs are able to do now. They're having it that, you give an AI this certain financial information, and people are able to ask the AI to help handle them with their investments if you give them certain information. AI is now teaching
And it's all
AI.
algorithm based? Like, how
It's
is
all
it?
out. So they're just dumping as much information in, right? And they're teaching the AI, for instance,
Through our habits?
through our habits. So if we, for speech, you just give AI all these different ways that people think, different writers, different topics, different subjects, persuasive, funny, dramatic, macabre, direct, informative, all of these different speech patterns and speech possibilities. And you say, Antoinette, we could use this chat box. We should use the chat box actually to write what our description of this episode. You put into it, two best friends, Antoinette and Shanti, record a podcast about AI and Allen Iverson and remembering the 99 and the 2000s. And it will create a fully fleshed out, completely cognizant, damn near perfect paragraph, better than we would, grammatically correct, on top of it. And what's actually happening now is though people are having deeper conversations with it, right? Like now it's just like, oh, spit out this paragraph, but people are having conversations about the meaning of life with AI. And AI is using all of this information that it had to like spit some hot shit back, like nothing matters at all. Like,
That's your
or
AI.
they're having like deep philosophical conversations, but
I
people are
saw
getting
Crystal having conversations with her AI bot, and I was like, how is she doing that? She was asking, like, oh, hey, have you ever heard of the read? And they were like, yeah, the read is da 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 da. Have you heard of the read? And she was like, I'm actually one of the hosts. And it was like, oh, wow, that must be really exciting. How does it feel to be one of the hosts? Like, speaking
a
to her
straight up
as though it was a
conversation.
huge human. Yeah. Oh, God.
AI is more creative and collaborative than it's ever been before. It can generate, edit, and iterate with users on creative and technical writing tasks, such as composing songs, writing screenplays, or learning a user's writing style. So I can share, I'm making this thing up, but I'm assuming I can share my writing, my past writing to the AI, and then I'm like, yo, AI, make a paragraph about being an alcoholic and feeling sad, and they'll write it back in my style. But it's getting crazy now because, as I said before, it's learning how to reason. It's learning how to talk to itself. So now you're kind of like cutting out um, these human prompts. And AI, one person said, can now lie to us and withhold information from us. So
What you
it's
mean?
like
Like it
you
has its
can,
own mind. It's
it has its
conniving
own,
enough to know what to
basically, yes,
withhold.
conniving. So all of these nuances, these human nuances, it's picking up on. And so recently, the Future of Life Institute, whose main purpose is steering transformative technology towards benefiting life and away from extreme large scale risks, wrote an open letter to all. And the open letter is asking that all AI labs immediately pause for at least 6 months the training of AI systems more power than the GPT-4 that we mentioned before. And so what's also happening is that all of these big tech companies are running to be the leading AI producer, to have the most developed apps and processes. And so they're developing these systems and trying to get it out there without actually thinking about what the consequence of that is. I'm going to read a little bit what this open letter says. AI systems with human competitive intelligence can pose profound risks to society and humanity, as shown by extensive research and acknowledged by top AI labs. As stated in the widely endorsed something principles, advanced AI could represent a profound change in the history of life on Earth and should be planned for and managed with commensurate care and resources. Unfortunately, this level of planning and management is not happening even though recent months have seen AI labs locked in an out of control race to develop and deploy ever more powerful digital minds that no one, not even their creators, can understand, predict, or reliably control.
It's over.
They ask, contemporary AI systems are now becoming human competitive at general tasks, and we must ask ourselves, should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? Should we automate all of the jobs, including the fulfilling ones? Should we develop non-human minds that might eventually outnumber, outsmart, obsolete, and replace us? Should we risk loss of control of our civilization? Such decisions must not be delegated to unelected tech leaders. So basically, they're
All
saying
those
like,
questions sound like a hard no. The fuck? Like what? It's pretty clear. Like we don't need tech thought leaders just giving no. Wait,
open
read the
AI's
last two questions one more time there.
should we develop non-human minds that might eventually outnumber, outsmart, obsolete, and replace us? Should we
No.
risk loss of control of our civilization? Such
No.
decisions must be delegated to unelected tech leaders.
Oh,
So
unelected.
basically, they're like saying, take it out of Google, take it all these niggas that are trying to get profit from it, and put it in the hands of people that actually are concerned with the science rather than the profitability and making this putting it out in the market share. Powerful AI systems should be developed only once we have confidence that their effects will be positive and their risks will be manageable.
What is
They
the
go
source?
on to, this is a Future of Life Institute created this. They didn't get that many people to sign it either. They're also stating that
That's probably an AI site.
it's
AI
probably an
wrote
AI
it.
wrote this shit. He probably
You
tricking us
can't
now.
trust nothing. They wrote it just to see who's gonna click on it to take us out first. They collecting the data.
At some point, it may be important to get independent review, before starting to train future systems and for the most advanced efforts to agree to limit the rate of growth and compute used for creating these new models. So he's saying, everybody pause, stop, it's getting out of control. They're asking for governments and institutes to create like guidelines and stop, it's getting crazy. So crazy right now. But I'm like, do we want to give this type of power to governments to make decisions around? Because that sounds like a shit show too. Girl, what kind of life we went through? Corona, now we're gonna go to computers? What the fuck?
This is terrifying. It's conundrum is my new favorite word. This is the thing that you don't want to be left behind, right? Because when the internet first came out, this was the talk. It's gonna take over, make jobs obsolete, which some of it did, but it also created jobs too, right? And it's this evil thing, Y2K, everything's about to shut down, the world is ending. And there was a generation of people who were like, oh, this isn't going to last, who were left behind. They were either left behind or they had to play catch up like crazy. I watched my mom be in the workforce and just struggle to keep up with what the hell was going on. And so it's one of these things where I feel very strongly that I need to know what it is. The same way that crypto gives me anxiety because I don't understand it. This gives me anxiety because I don't understand it, and I know that it's up next. My job's talking about it, about using AI. It makes the designers, the copywriters so nervous because they're like, I'm not going to have a job because this computer is about to write the copy instead of
better
me.
than you.
Better than you, and make it sound like me and make it sound like the client. Designers, I'm not going to have a job because, this computer generated thing is about to create the design. What's really interesting too is that I want to pull up that man's name Who was the photographer who
Yeah.
AI? So there
Was
was
he
a
a painter or a
photographer,
photographer?
a photographer.
Mm.
Um, I can't remember. It was in Europe though. Photographer admits grand winning image was AI generated. So a German photographer, Boris
Mm.
Edlegessen, um, says entry to Sony World Photography Awards was designed to provoke a debate. And so this photographer created an AI image, won the top award, and then was like, oh, just so y'all know, this was AI. So this is the risk you run. Like, art is at risk. Um, and like, I'm sure that art in the scheme of things makes people be like, yo, I'm not worried about art. I'm worried about, AI having all of my information. I'm worried about my job being taken away. But all of this is important, and it's really, I think it's scary because we use this all the time. We say it's a lack of humanity, but AI literally is. Like, it's literally a lack of humanity. It's
Or yes, but
robots.
also mimicking humanity in a
Yes.
very in a
In an eerie, uncomfortable, creepy ass way that so many techies are getting turned on by in Silicon Valley. But like, I don't get it.
for Sable, you have to describe the product description, like the
Uh-huh.
product description, and they have a little AI thing. So all I have to put in is gold, Fulani hoops, West Africa, bold. Boom! I said, "Oh my God, that is
It
amazing.
did
I
it.
will keep it." Yeah,
What are
whole
you
sentence.
using to do that? It's free?
It's the thing is that it's in the coding for I don't fucking know internet, but it's in the
But where are
coding of
you writing it?
Shopify.
Oh, in Shopify.
Shopify. So now, now we're going to have these intuitive writing things that are a part of our daily life. You tell I can't even imagine what AI is going to. The only references that I have is like, yo, it be drawn and it be writing, but it does a lot more than that I don't have the
Well, think about
capacity
it. Like,
to understand.
we are, maybe I don't know. I mean, children aren't even learning cursive anymore because now they're typing. So now are they even going to learn how to write? Because all they really got, maybe they'll eventually graduate to, you just have to know specific words, and then this thing will write for you. You don't need to
It's
be able to write a thesis, write a
yeah,
paragraph,
yeah.
just have your points.
It's really interesting. I think about a spiritual thing that we're becoming more and more disembodied. And what is the
Mm.
consequence of like us getting more like we're all out here, we're in our heads and then we're like out here. It's just weird. I don't know, child.
What are the ways that you
Anyway,
think it'll help, though? I think we only need to talk about AI. We could save the other one
oh,
for later.
okay.
But what are the ways that we think it can help? I mean, it's already helping you. You're writing, you're using it. Don't be using that shit, Shanti. Do it the hard way.
No, I said Fulani, 2 inches, bold, West Africa. She said she fucked it up. She was like, "Girl, come through with your bold earrings, looking like a black Nubian queen." Ah,
Wow.
it helps with the internet. People are writing essays with it.
But that's scary because what about the skill set? We can hardly speak. If we now have AI, maybe we'll just have AI do a podcast. Like, this is scary. What about the skill sets that
It
we
could
need?
it could help with scheduling, right? Like you could figure out it can help some of the shit that we're dealing with be a little bit more efficient. You could ask it that, how can I make my um how can I ask my business for grants, or
Okay,
who do I
stop.
ask for, or what's
Stop
like
right there.
it it does all types of
You
stuff.
don't think that it's weird that you can ask a a computer something and it answers with an
Yeah, I mean,
answer? Like, that's not a human.
You ain't saying them a
That's
Siri
like,
was
here go
telling you all
this.
that shit. It's just Siri
I
times.
don't use Siri. Siri is turned off on my phone because it scares me. All of that shit really scares me because I think it's strange. Because it's like, that's one day I'm gonna have this what is this? What is this called? See, I need
A
AI.
mug,
It's not a mug. It's like a anyway,
canister, tea carrier.
tea carrier canister mug. One day I'll be able to look at this and say reheat, and it'll just do it. That's fucking weird. Or how was your day, inanimate object? That's weird, guys.
Black Mirror about to be lit. Black Mirror about to be like, told you. I just licked my mic. I apologize.
Like, yeah, what if your mic can lick you back?
Oh.
It's just getting weird. And they have things like that.
Girl.
They have a new kissing thing. You haven't seen that, huh? It's supposed to help with long distance relationships where you kiss it, but it'll basically move in the way that your partner is moving. So it will sense how your partner is kissing it, and it will kiss you back in that way so that you can have intimacy from distance. Yeah.
What?
Yes. Like what you said, we are moving further and further away from connectivity. We are disembodied. We're already on screens all day, not talking to one another for real. Look at us. And we're already swiping left and right and not just having human interaction to actually connect. No, we got to go to the woods. We're done. I'm done. If this really takes off, I might end it because it's scary.
It's taking off, Antoinette. That's the thing. That's what they're saying. There's no stopping this. That's what it's saying.
She pointed.
They listening to us now. He learning now. They learning. Oh, this is what skepticism sounds like. This is what ignorant, low vocabulary skepticism sounds.
Oh my god! Wow.
There's no stopping it. It's not a matter.
There's going to be AI people. There's going to be AI Instagram accounts. They already have that where they're just fake influencers. Like,
what also makes me really scared is this control. When you talked about having people's information,
yes,
and control, and them saying we're giving it to the governments to manage this, like, what the fuck makes us think that the government has the sense to manage this kind of stuff?
Also, who determines? Like,
well, they're saying that people that are not affiliated with profit from it, that that purely understand the science of this, like, give it to the AI. Do we really think that the
government is not gonna profit off of this?
Girl, that's what I'm saying. They're all for it.
But you know how many jobs are gonna be lost? Like, I don't understand. Like, if I'm looking at this, and oftentimes when there's new technology, many jobs are also created. But this one doesn't feel like, if it sounds like AI is going to be able to create itself. Like, it's learning so quickly that you don't even need a human behind it to really monitor it or program it or anything.
It's moving more quickly. It's moving more quickly than
we understand.
Humans' capacity to understand it. It's becoming like God mind. Like, it's like, oh wait, what you say? They're like, yeah, man, this shit ain't real, for real. It's becoming. That's what they're scared of. It's beyond our understanding. Not us having a fucking AI take us out.
That's so corny and predictable. It really is.
Like, robot.
That's so dumb.
But I hope that but what if the AI becomes is evolved and does become godlike and, like,
what if
helps us?
Jesus comes back in this form? What if this is actually,
I am a god?
Yeah. What if?
Not so much me.
If my computer started talking to me and told me it was God, I would think it was a spiritual thing happening, and I'd be like, okay. Truly. I would believe that. It wouldn't make any other, because I wouldn't be able to wrap my head around this AI concept. Or at first I would probably think that I was getting tricked by, like, you or something. But then, like, if it kept doing it, I'd be like, wow, God is speaking to me through technology. Do you know the cults that could exist if somebody decided to weaponize AI in that way? To convince
I
people
don't.
that this was a higher being?
Well, I think that this is also the conversation of what then constitutes a higher being, right?
Oh shit, we
Are
really
are
get
we
into
just are we just is it as simple as math and algorithms and like information that creates this consciousness? Is that
right.
all it is? That consciousness is just algorithms and information that really knows itself and understands order and like law in this way, or is there this
No way.
spirit like that? But that's I
When do
hope that
you feel
that
most
gets
connected
uncovered.
to God? I would think it's in nature. I would
Yeah,
think it's in childbirth. It's in
but
the things that strip you of all of this other shit. It's in the moments
nature
of
is.
love.
But is nature not a sequence and patterns and algorithms? It's just
Oh my
patterns.
God.
It's like
Don't fuck up my understanding of the world. It is
that's what it is.
11:24
Divine
at night.
mathematics. You ever look at a fucking acorn, bro?
It is divine
Yeah, I don't know.
mathematics.
Or what is consciousness? It's getting
But it's
tricky.
not artificial. This is artificial. Artificial intelligence is AI.
Well, that's what I want to
That's
understand.
divine mathematics. This is nothing divine
Yeah,
about this. This is human man-made technology posing
yeah,
as divinity.
yeah.
Heard it here first. And we should be scared, terrified actually. I would rather a meteor be coming than this.
I talk about it. I rather because
I'm
what?
not for this.
What's
This is
gonna
scary.
happen?
These
But I think
robot
to think
dogs
it's
in
gonna be
NYC,
robot girl. No,
they
that's gonna be
already
really
out
gonna
here.
be
They got
scary.
robot dogs patrolling New York of the cities.
I don't know if it's maybe it is. There's two things. It's AI developing its own consciousness and evolving past ours, or it's this really high consciousness that's in the power of low consciousness people like
Good
ourselves.
night.
I don't know what's scarier. Like if governments are like people get this to dominate, to control, to either way, it's Hotep scary. The Hoteps was right this
We
whole
need to,
time.
yeah, we need to figure out what Dr. Umar thinks. I'm
You
serious.
were dead ass. I just saw you really considering it. Like,
I was thinking, like, I want to know what Dr. Umar thinks. I want to know what Dr. Carr thinks. I want to know what Yaba thinks because she a little hoteppy on the low too. I
y'all
want to
would be like,
know.
this
I
shit
need
ain't
to know.
natural. The white man made it? Oh, hell no.
Yeah, like who's behind this? I want to see him. Is it Mark Zuckerberg? Maybe they're getting rid of that Facebook. Uh-oh. AI. You back, Queen?
Yeah, you're gonna press record. We should definitely get somebody that know because we are very limited in understanding this.
We
But
need to ask AI.
somebody knows and understands and I can actually deepen our understanding of how threatening this is and scary it is, really.
You know what else scares the shit out of me? Not to derail. 3D press, printer. Mm-mm. That, I don't like it. I don't understand it. The amount of YouTube videos I have Googled on trying to understand how a 3D printer works. They 3D printing all kinds of shit. They 3D printing homes. They
What?
3D they just printing it and
No.
it exists. I swear to God. They're just like, oh, here we go. We're gonna show it this thing. We need a glass. We're gonna 3D print it. It's the wildest shit.
What?
It's out of the Jetsons. Google it and be terrified. Everybody tonight, go on
But how do
YouTube.
they 3D print a house, Internet? Like a small
They did
miniature
it.
house? Or a
They
big
did
house?
it.
A big house or a little
They
house?
did it.
You're not answering the question. A
I
big
don't
house?
remember. But I'm telling you, in
It's
the
a big
wee
ass
hours
printer.
of the night where I can't sleep and I feel like being terrified about something, I Google how does a camera work? I don't get it. I'll never get it. How does that camera? I actually did a report on that in high school. Was I in high school? I lied.
Aperture, flip side, like it is all
No.
crazy. It's like it's upside
the way
down.
they connect the light.
What?
The way they capture the light and then it goes onto anyway. Very wild shit. But that 3D printer is of the wildest.
Girl.
Hold on. I'm gonna Google that right now. How does a 3D printer work? Because I never actually Googled it. I only YouTube stuff because I don't read. It works by exposing a layer of photosensitive liquid resin to a UV laser beam. The resin then hardens in the desired pattern, and the object is built layer by layer until complete. Did you hear that? They build stuff.
They build stuff 3D. Not
you playing, but I'm so serious.
All right, well, another reason for you to be scared, concerned, and another reason for you to find some relief when you think things are so serious. None of this shit matters.
It all matters. That's not what
really.
I get from this. It all matters. All right, y'all. Well, I don't know if you enjoyed this episode or not, but it was enlightening for me.
You should check
Thank
it
you,
out.
Shanti.
Yeah, you can find the link to it. Open Letter Future of Life. Not the Future of Life Institute.
I was like, what is the source?
It's the Future of Life Institute. They only got 2,000 signatures. Let me sign this.
You didn't hear me when I asked you what the source was when you were. And I was like,
fucking life.
What in the Hotep article did you find?
No, they concerned. They up here talking about artificial intelligence, biotechnology, nuclear weapons, climate change. They got the finger on the pulse. Got a bunch of white people. Look, the advisors. Elon Musk is one of the advisors, child.
You really can't trust it. See?
Alan Alda, George Church, Morgan Freeman up in this bitch.
Morgan's there?
What is this? AI definitely made this. This ain't real.
This is not a real website.
This is hodgepodge.
Can I ask you a question, Shanti? This is completely off topic. But since you just mentioned a black actor, I'm going to show you a picture of an actor, and I want you to say his name for me.
Oh, no.
It's fine. Don't worry. You going to know who it is. Hold on, y'all. I'm Googling it right now. All right. Do me a favor. Who is this?
Samuel L. Jackson.
You said both L's. You are elite. No one else says.
Samuel Jackson.
Say it again.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel. His name is Samuel L. Jackson, and nobody says it. We say Samuel Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, you realize his name
but it's an L. It's a Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel.
L.
But no, it's Samuel L. Jackson. Because Samuel is not his name. We've been saying it wrong. This took Twitter a storm.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, Samuel L. Jackson.
But do white people say that?
Samuel L. Jackson. Yes,
Samuel
they do.
Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Why are we saying that nigga's middle name in the first? Saying that.
I don't know why we putting that L in there. He demands it, but Samuel Jackson. So we basically said his name is Samuel, and then the L came in, and then it's Jackson.
Child.
I bet
okay, you guys definitely should go to thefutureoflife.org. We have a podcast here. It's about AGI and cognitive emulation. Child.
What does that mean? Bye. We gotta go. What does that mean?
To emulate cognitively. AI is learning how to it's going to learn the cognitive practices that our brain does. All the nuances of it. This nigga looks serious too. Look at him. Not Connor Leahy.
All right.
Check it out, y'all.
Inside a 3D printed house you'll actually want to live in. I just found it.
We're going down the rabbit hole.
It has
Take us to the woods.
200.1 million views. I'ma send this shit to you right the fuck now. Today we are taking a look inside Icon's new luxury 3D printed house. Shelby Church posted it on YouTube, and it's a highly high budget House Zero. It's a high budget video here. Wow, whole thing was just printed like a sheet of paper, but it's a house.
Antoinette, no.
Okay,
How
you
big
can't
is the
argue with
fucking
me.
printer? I don't understand. Is it a
That's
house
what I'm-
printer? It's a big house printer.
All right, wait. Check your phone right now because I'm sending it to you right now because you think I'm bullshitting. This is why it should terrify you. It's huge.
I'm
It's
cool
a
with that.
house.
I need to build some houses. We need more houses. I'm not scared of a house printer. As much
No,
as
it's. Do you understand what you just said? How are we printing a house? How are you printing a water system?
see what you don't
Heating
know is they probably got a
system.
lot of things that they know how to make that they ain't telling us about.
Nah, this ain't right. It ain't right. We gotta go. I'm done. It's late, and I still gotta move my car. And this house is fucking lit.
I gotta go.
Yo, this
Thank you for
house
listening
is
to another
amazing.
episode of Around the Way Curls. If you are an AI expert, or you know more than us, which you probably do, we would love to hear from you. Love to have you to come on the show to figure out what the possible threats or benefits. Maybe we aren't thinking about this clearly. I don't know. But I'm going to go back to the 99 and the 2000s. That's all. Getting old. Don't want to do this future shit anymore. Take me back. Things were
All
simpler.
right.
Puff Daddy.
All right,
we
out.
y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Wait, look at that video. They printed the
Hungry.
house. No, they did. Like they printed the beam. You're not getting it. Look at that.
It looks like they're putting wiring in it. Uh-oh. Oh,
The
shit.
wires were printed.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Uh-oh. Whoa.
All that shit in there, they printed. Like, that's not wood. They printed it. Some machine. You basically told it what you wanted it to be, and they made it. And they're trying to 3D print hearts. They're trying to 3D print all kinds of shit to help people who need it.
Yeah.
Also, why did this man pull his locks that far forward on his head? You see him? You're not watching this video, are you? Because you would have seen him. I gotta go. I gotta record. I can't even believe that I still need to work. I'm sick. You see it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
How do you print like JoJo's gonna be able to, when she's like 50, go to Best Buy, or she probably not even gonna have to go to Best Buy, girl. She probably just gonna have to tell AI, I want a 3D printer. The printer gonna come to the house, and then she gonna say, print me out a new foot.
AI reference. That is so pathetic.
Well, the name of the episode is gonna be Allen Iverson is the only AI we acknowledge. I already downloaded I was doing the background while we were talking. Are you looking at that house, or are you looking at something else?
Chat GPT prompts. Look, they follow me. Oh my God.
What are you seeing that on though? Like on your phone? I don't have any of that.
Look up Chat GPT.
I don't want to.
Well, that's how it works.
Look up Chat
GPT.
P as in
G as in girl, P as in punani, T as in toy.
And you want me to download? I'm not downloading this on my phone.
Just look it up. Introducing Chat GPT. Wait, hold up.
I think that Bridget and Mandy had used this for a song. It wrote lyrics to a song.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. Oh God. That's it. World ended.
Okay, so that's what GPT stands for. Generative Pre-trained Transformer. I wish I knew that. We could have said that. That makes sense. Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Why y'all doing this? Why y'all doing this to people? Like, all right. Let me go. Send me those files, please.
What the John Ski? Fuck, forgot about that. The ad, right?
Mhm.
Which ad is it? I forgot that fast. Which one was
You said
Spreaker?
Babel or Kipshit?
Babel. Babel was Spreaker. Ain't even. Shut it.
You will stop recording?